crack, guys?
My name's Robbie.
I'm Marty.
Together we are
Mind your Bap.
Mind Your Bap.
We've mastered that. Don't even have to look at each other no more.
Mate, it's hard looking at you.
So you've been saying.
Still the wee ones in the cheekiest, aren't there?
Boys the crack, so.
He was the cheekiest. Do you like my waistcoat?
I love your suit today, eh?
You like my suit today?
Indeed, I'm out and about today myself, so the work gear's on too.
Surprisingly. Looking smart.
Not too bad, thank you. The haircut especially for today, you know.
Looking well.
The beard done as well.
You get good value.
One over.
Well,
so what's the crack for today then? What about them?
Well, I think we're going to look at what you would do if someone comes to you and they start talking about mental health, or if they come to you and in the conversation that you think that there might be a mental health issue. So that's a number of do's and don'ts. A number of things that you should do if someone comes to you and starts to talk about mental health, in particular, if they come to you and they have a mental health problem. And what we're going to embark on is a 3-part series of what that is, and give out some tips, some do's and don'ts, and possibly some learned experience.
Yeah, because we can all learn as well by it, can't we? Because we kind of, somebody comes to you and sometimes you might give them the wrong advice. Sometimes you just want an ear to this, basically bend for half an hour, whatever it may be. So it kind of brings us to our first point, which is listen. Yeah. So what do you recommend there?
Well, listening for some of us is a learnt skill. For someone who's as chatty as me, who if someone comes to me, sometimes if they're talking, and say for instance if someone's talking and that they pause, someone that's as chatty as me often feels the need to fill that void.
Correct.
And that's not good. In this forum, that's not a good thing. I think when you're trying to encourage somebody and give them that platform to share, well then, as I said, you've got 2 of these and only 1 of these, and you have to make them feel and understand that you are listening.
So I think if you keep sort of, as you said, if there's a bit of a silence and you jump in, it could fluster them a little bit, I think, believe it or not, where maybe they're just gathering their thoughts because their mind is crowded. They need an extra couple of seconds maybe to say what is on their mind. So I think, as you said, I'm the same, just jump in. If it's, can't say something because they're not, so it doesn't not get awkward but kind of get silent, but
you hear the statement in around mental health, it's good to talk.
Yeah.
And that's, it's even better to listen.
Yeah.
So it's good to talk for the person who's unburdening, unloading, and possibly talking about their mental health for the first time. Yeah. I spent time just maybe earlier today with 3 older gentlemen, and they're involved in an initiative which we'll do a video on it at some stage. I'll invite them in. Okay. And these guys are in their sort of probably 60s and 70s. Okay. Different generation to me and you. Yep. Just about. And then that's what they were saying, guys struggle to talk. So when they do talk, you got to make sure that the platform's there for them. It's as easy as possible for them to talk. Yeah. And so the skill of listening is something we're going to all improve.
It is, and sort of not giving your 2 pence again, as I said, in case it's the wrong advice. Just listen, let them rant for 10 minutes, because I don't know about you, I'm sure some days you just want to go home and just lay it all off, the partner. But unfortunately, they have to sit back and listen, and you just need that sometimes, because if somebody comes back with the wrong advice, I think you can just get a wee bit tense, even more tense, so definitely. Yeah. So another thing as well, let them know you understand. So what do you reckon about that?
Okay, where I think that lies is that so not everybody has the same skill set. So there's some people who aren't people persons, and some people maybe don't have the skill set to listen. Or don't have that empathy. So I think it's about, this is for the listener perhaps at times, that you, some people may be uncomfortable and may not be the best person to do it. And then because there's a certain skill set in terms of creating that environment where you make it a welcoming, private, confidential sounding board or sounding post that you've become.
Exactly, and again, sort of let them know maybe if you've had something similar happen to yourself, kind of listen, when this happened to me, basically tell them what happened then, and kind of relate to them. I think it's a bit of a common ground, isn't it?
Well, I think that's really important. So what you're doing is you're validating the person and saying you're not alone in this, because I've been through something similar, but I think the caution with this one is not to turn around. Sorry guys. I think the key in this one is not to say I know how you're feeling, because you may have had the same experience, but your feelings could be slightly or completely different, because we've all got different coping mechanisms, and even though we might have been through something similar, all of those ancillary effects might be producing a different outcome. So I think it's good to validate them by saying I've been through something similar and here's my story. But I think what you shouldn't be saying is, and I know how you feel.
Yep.
Because
what to do.
Yeah. I think all that some people need is to be validated in that it's okay. They've had this experience.
I suppose saying, listen, this is how I felt in that time. How are you feeling about that? And kind of seeing if it is on the same par. If it's not, then saying, everybody's different. So it is. So another thing as well is avoid being judgmental.
So you started this one, Marty. I mean,
again, I just think, if they're saying something to you and you're maybe thinking in your head, just thinking, wow, that's a wee bit too much, or whatever it may be, just take a step back, I think. Don't judge them, because again, it's a thought that they're having, and if it's a negative on their life, then you just have to understand that and take that small step back and just, again, go back to listening, I think. What do you reckon?
I think it's incredibly important for a number of reasons. Now, there are certain, so there are certain if you are a listener or you are unloading onto someone. First of all, it's really important to know that you can trust the person, okay? That's established boundaries. Because there's only certain things, if you're not trained for instance, that you can take on board. So because of the complexity of mental health and maybe the seed of that mental health, and it could be a trauma. It could be abuse, it could be an addiction. And unless you've lived professional experience, all you should be is a sounding board and then a signpost. It's important that you don't overstep your level of responsibility. So in terms of the being judgmental, I think it's wrapped up in that, because you're going to hear some confidential stuff. They may be unburdening stuff that's very, very sensitive, and you do not need to put a badge or a label on them, and that's what judgment does. You're putting a label or a badge of judgment, and that just takes everything off the table.
It does,
and could set that person back
tenfold, like that.
Absolutely.
Especially again when it comes to opening up, they might think, I've tried that once, didn't get nowhere, so I won't do that again. So it's a tricky situation to be in, isn't it?
And society today is extremely judgmental, I think. I mean, the whole stigma around mental health, the reason there is a stigma is because of that judgment that was put on people years and years ago. If you'd been displaying any sort of weakness, you were bad with your nerves, or you're a headbanger, or you're all sorts.
Your head's gone, all them sort of terms. Where in fact you're just suffering, and it is an illness as well. I mean, the brain needs to be trained and reprogrammed sometimes. So you're not any weaker than anybody else. You're actually stronger because of what you're going through. I think personally,
So it's one of those things you learn from, Marty, and you get the scar or something that becomes part of it, but you're learning. And then you'll learn for next time how to cope with it. What else have we got here, Robbie? We'll go. Avoid using offensive terms and diagnosing them.
I suppose saying the wrong thing again, isn't it? Again, and sort of saying, well, listen, that's your anxiety, that's your this, that, and the other. When in fact we don't know. Could be literally just a thought that they've had that's crept up and it's just staying there. So instead of, maybe I'd probably be guilty of that sometimes myself, saying that could be your anxiety or whatever it may be. I think it's just again, go back to listening. Just sit there, listen. Don't be saying anything other than, how can I help? What do you need from me? Take a scenario. What do you reckon?
I think so. There's a fine line between banter. It very much depends, and it's having a sense of audience. The person is unloading with you. So if they're an absolutely close friend, like me and you do have a bit of banter.
Correct.
Okay, and we both would be under pressure at times, and we both would share some things. So we can have a bit of banter, but we've already established that level of friendship. Okay. And that we could overstep that. I hope we don't ever. But I think it's about the person that's talking to you. How well do you know them? Is it a stranger, is someone you've just met? And there are those boundaries again. And so what I mean about that, I know you, so we can use certain language which we're comfortable with. But at the same time, if you were sharing something intimate with me, I would definitely change what I say. I wouldn't use a lot of those terms. So it's having, even the conversations we would have and the level of friendship, it depends on the conversation we're having.
True, and I suppose friends as well. I mean, if you've been friends with somebody a lifetime, you'll know their character and how to deal with them. And again, if it's a different friend, they might need something a little bit different from you. And I think that's correct there, really, actually. On that note. Another thing here as well, take them seriously. I mean, I think it's kind of, if somebody is strong enough to open up to you, it's not even laughing in a sense, because it's just maybe thinking, if they see an expression maybe or something you've made, they might think, I need to take a step back from saying what I'm about to say here. So again, can set them back. You reckon that? Eh?
No, I think it seems like an innocuous statement. It seems like common sense, but the reality is, when you look at the levels of suicide in this country and how many there are, you know, a lot of these people may, but more likely may not have made their problems or their issues known, and it's those hidden stories that are compounding people's problems, and so it's just ensuring that any opportunity, anybody that goes to offload, you give them that opportunity, that space to do it, because it might just be that one time that makes a difference.
Correct. I think as well, just again, if they're saying things that you're thinking, what will come off of here? It's just literally could be that 10 minutes, that's how they feel, just to get it off their chest, and then they'll actually open up properly to what's going on. I think, you know, instead of saying things like you're having a bad week here, just, you know, try and dig in a little bit and find out the cause of what's happening. As you said, a signpost on what to do with that. Yeah. I saw a wee
thing on Facebook this week, and it was one of these viral ones, so it's not somebody that we would know personally, but it was a message that had been sent by someone that they met, and they hadn't seen them for maybe 7 years or something, but this person had met someone in the street, they'd given them a couple of minutes of their time, and I think they showed them their kindness. They run into them 7 years later, and the person said, "You transformed my life that day, because I was about to do something, I was about to," and then on that day, I don't know if it was if they were going to commit suicide, but that's certainly what it looked like. But on that day I met you, you were like an angel, you stepped into my life, you showed me a kindness, you said some words, and here's the words you said to me. You made a difference, you made such a difference, you saved my life that day. Now if you could ever run into somebody at some stage in your life and that they give you that kind of message, how worthwhile does that not make you in your life? You know? It does indeed. I mean, at the same time, I don't know if you've ever said anything bad to anybody else, you have, but I always remember something that maybe when I've been younger, if something really negative's been said to me, it'll stick in my brain, but I'll also remember, as you said, a little bit of advice that you've had, and it'll stick with you too.
Can I just say something behind the camera? I was just thinking, when people open up, I know if something's a bit awkward, I use humour to cover it up, which can be totally inappropriate for that situation, or vice versa. They use humour, you know, to sort of lighten the mood when someone's opening up.
Because it's getting serious, basically.
Yeah, I just think it was Robin Williams. Just at least the last person you expect. You know, funny guy, smiles.
One of the funniest guys in the world.
I know I do. I crack a joke, you know, sort of. I'll say something, open it up, and then I'll like diffuse it and say something
you'll
funny.
take a step back, basically. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, Robin Williams was deeply troubled genius. Made us all laugh. Some really good films, and his end was very sad. And he said some really profound stuff. And the guy, he left plenty of clues when you look back. And that is the thing, you do look back, and unfortunately, you know, at the time you don't really recognise them signs. You know, similar to what I was saying about, for some reason, social media, I'll always take a wee nosy. I know I've said this before. Just when I'm down, for some reason, I'll see somebody's posts that have changed from their usual wee self to then maybe a couple of negative posts about, you know, just think they're not themselves here. So I usually keep a wee eye on that. That's just another wee tip. If you see that, let's see, 10 seconds of your time, drop the line. As you said, it can make a difference. The words that you said to somebody, you know. Another thing as well, making yourself available. I know that's quite tough. Busy lives as well, you know. I run my own business, you know, a partner at home, I play football, family, so trying to keep that, your door open is hard, and it is. So it is, I think it is quite tough to have your door open, but at the same time, if they're in that place, then making your home open, so then if they need to call around and see you, you know, if you are busy, they can still nip and see you and have a chat with you. What do you reckon? I think it's really big. If you remember back a few weeks, I used to be saying to have a friend, you've got to be a friend. So here's the thing: this is a double-edged sword. This one, this is if you, some of us, if not all of us, at some stage will need to offload.
Correct.
Okay, and what better way of having a connection or a cluster of trusted friends that you can do that with, because you've already done it for them. I mean, if your door's open for somebody, their door will be open for you. But if you've got closed doors all the time because you've made your life so busy and you're such a successful fella or girl or something, you've got everything going on, but you've actually got no real depth, because of when the crisis happens, who have you got to go to?
Correct.
And what soundboard have you got? So I think you would do in essence, by providing that soundboard and that space for somebody, you get it reciprocated, because that person almost without doubt will be there for you.
And they won't forget it, you know, as you said, and they will be there for you if you need them. So yes, it is tough because we're all busy, but you do need to keep your life open. I mean, I always try and keep in touch with my friends as much as possible. I mean, as life goes on, we don't see each other every Saturday night no more as we used to, but we still make a lot of time for each other.
Oh, by the way, yes, I've enjoyed your Facebook photographs this week. When Marty was younger, really good. So you need them up on Facebook or his own Facebook. Marty Chappelle, and you'll see some photographs of him back in the 60s, 70s. Maybe?
Yeah, they'll be all private, so you'll not find them. Now that I get off this, it'll be put there, just few by myself. Did you see them photos?
I enjoyed them. And there's a couple of our mutual friends, Neil and that there. Just you can see them.
Neil's haircut, no offense.
Neil's haircut.
Here you
are. You want to talk?
Walked into it.
Sorry, mate. It's only banter.
And do you know what's funny? I know. Do you know what's funny? See, looking back at them photos,
yes.
I was thinking back then. I was like, this is cool. Here, the way you're dressing, your hair, you basically had a mullet. You know what I mean? And you're thinking this will never grow old, but that was like, I think that was only 8 years ago. We look ridiculous.
I was only 38 years ago.
We were now 22. Very good. So
yes.
Another one here, Robbie.
Yes.
Don't turn what you've been told into gossip.
Oh man. Yeah.
I think you can read this actually. Yeah.
Oh, many experiences where I've been called out badly. You know, if someone tells you something in confidence, that's it.
Yeah.
And in fact, in some ways, if you can forget about it, not forget about the conversation, but forget about the detail, because the detail may not be important. And certainly, if you've been told something in confidence, you can destroy the person if you share that and it's shared in the wrong form. And especially with the scourge of social media. Social media is great for having a bit of banter there that we did about memories and stuff.
Yeah.
But similarly, once something's up there, so if someone shares something and somebody posts about it on Facebook, that's it. It's out there forever.
Yeah.
And somebody could be telling you the most intimate details.
The ones I see quite a lot that actually frustrate me, to be honest, is local businesses. What they'll do, because I'm a local business owner myself, I seen one recently, I'm not mentioning it was in Chinese, and a guy posted up a picture of what it was, and other people writing there saying, I'll never use them again. Yeah. Literally took his word for that. Yeah. And for all we know, you could have done the Google screenshot and done it. Yeah. But people don't realise, the implications that it has on people. There's people behind that small business that have probably owned that for 20 odd years. Yeah. I just think it's, just again, take a step back.
Here's the thing, this is a wee bit of advice. If you get something that's not right, go back to where you bought from. Say,
exactly.
That's not what I paid for, or I don't think it's good.
Yeah.
Do you want to make it better? And if they don't want to make it better, if their customer service isn't good, there's a relationship there.
There is, and there has to be. And again, I mean, you'll always never, like, for instance, take away food. That's what we're talking about. You're always going to get a bad night when you'll get some food that's absolutely rubbish. Let's be honest. But if you've used that place, as you said, just go back and say, listen. Wasn't up to scratch. I know my sister has had that recently, and she just literally says, right, we'll sort it out next time. But I think, again, as you said, if it's put up on the social media, just relating to that.
Yes.
Just think, that has implications. People,
absolutely,
you lose customers.
Confidentiality. When you're having these intimate discussions with people is very, very valuable.
It is.
It's crucial to the whole relationship. And if someone needs to come back and tell you the rest of their story, but again, when you let somebody down like that, it's saying more about your character.
Correct.
You may be telling the world a bit of gossip and a bit of tasty gossip, or you may have done it and not realised the person you were telling it to was a gossip, but you were when you told it to that person, and then you're saying more about yourself.
And that's fine. The person has picked you to come and speak to, so they've actually went, you're trusted friend. So if you mistreat their trust, as you said, you just don't know where it's going to go.
Okay. But the last two, Marty?
Last two indeed. Yep. If you don't understand, do some research.
Okay. Yeah. I know that I would have been quick to give people advice when I didn't know squat what I was talking about in the past, because you feel like you need to know.
Yeah.
I think it's a natural trait, and because you feel less, you feel like not maybe a failure, but you think everybody's clever and you should know stuff. Well, here's the thing about life. You'll always be learning, and it's fine not to know. But if you don't know when you're interested, it's not that hard to find stuff out. Now, Google is a phenomenal search engine, but even when you do, and Google, I would say, do Google stuff. But look for the
trusted sites.
Trusted sites. I mean, our NHS is wonderful. NHS is a wonderful asset, and there's a lot of good information online.
Yeah.
And when you ask the right questions, and there's the difficult bit is, the computer will only churn out what you put, specific to the question you put in, and then so research is good. But I think one of the most powerful parts of bits of research is when you have somebody telling you about their like Gareth there a couple of weeks ago, Gareth's journey, and how he got help.
And learning that basically.
And learning that's better than a piece of paper or an online blog.
It's one of the things I've always seen about sort of women talking about self-harming, but when he came in and told us his story, I was took back a little bit, you know. And like, as you said, then I've learned a little bit about that now, which is good, but it's just doing your homework, because if you get something wrong, it could have a massive impact on somebody in the wrong way.
Exactly. And research isn't that hard these days.
No,
not like back in the day when you go up to the library, or library's still a great resource, by the way.
Yeah.
Library's still a great place to go to get your hands on books and stuff. And this library certainly has a lot of good stuff in there too.
Correct.
You just need to know what you're going to look for.
But Google is massive. Even thinking back when you were in Dublin trying to find a street, you know, back then, now you've got your map, you have a pre-program, you leave, you go. I remember thinking back, I was trying to get on the motorway from the O2, I remember what was called the 10, it was the O2 at the time, and just going, where are we going here? You know, even then, so Google is so useful. It is indeed. Last one then, Robbie, tell an adult medical professional if you have to. So basically I think that's just if you are, you know, I think if you're listening to somebody you think they need that next step properly, I think it's taking action straight away, and maybe even if it's making a phone call for them if they're comfortable with that, I think, and maybe doing that, because if you let them leave at that time, you just don't know what's happening, you're putting things to chance, I think, which is quite tough to say, but I think that could be the case.
Well, I think it's, in the first instance, obviously you got to try and encourage the person to avail of the professional help, because there's implications obviously with having somebody's information, and you wouldn't be passing anything on, but you certainly in the first instance we should be signposting. And there are some really good services out there, and you always have to get to your GP and stuff, you know, but we share every week. We fire them across the bottom here. You know, helplines and helpline numbers and stuff.
And there's some videos as well. Actually, on YouTube, there's a lot of the detailed circuits on for us too. If you don't catch it in the video, we look on it. So
I think it's finding your place in this journey with people. Okay. So and what we're talking about today is providing a sounding board and being there to listen, not overstepping your mark, not trying to be a professional. Acting as a signpost and encourager. With high levels of confidentiality.
100%.
And there are benefits in kind for that. Actually, the day will come perhaps when you need it yourself, and you might just be talking to the person that's going to give you that help. You know.
I don't know about you, but I've actually friends personally. Maybe a couple suffered some problems. I almost spoke about it, but there's been a lot of not strangers, but people that I wouldn't say are close that have actually opened up and would come and speak to me as well. Which is, you know, it's kind of, you know, if they're feeling down or whatever it may be. I think that's actually a nice tool that they can again turn around and come to you. I just think it is.
Absolutely.
We need a thought for the week.
if you go to this morning, or if you scroll down, I think you might squeak. Yeah. Keep going. Very bottom.
Ah, well done. Let me see. So our thought for the week: never let a stumble on the road be the end of your journey. I think that's quite powerful.
Amen to that. Correct. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed the podcast today, guys. So today's part of a 3-part series. It's the first part of it. We're talking about how we interface with people who have mental health problems, and so today's the first part of that. So I hope you tune in again to catch the next 2 parts of the series. But don't forget to mind your Bap, to hit the subscribe button, to tell your friends, and also feedback to us on a number of things. First of all, if you're liking or not liking what we're doing, we'll take that feedback on board. But also, if you fancy actually coming on some week and you've got something that's worthwhile to share and you think it could benefit other people's journey to mental strength, we'll do all we can to bring you on board and let you have a seat at the table.
Great. So tune in next week, and we are
Mind Your Bap.
So we have 3, 2, 1, and then one big clap.
One clap or 2 claps?
Just one, like, good one.
You do the count.
I need one big spike in the audio. So just
3, 2, 1.